ministry with the Catholic Archdiocese of LA for 9 years for juveniles in detention. And when I went to grad school in Seattle, they hired me to be their director for their prison system with the chaplaincy there. And then I came back to LA and did it again. And one day, while we were having a conversation about the number of women who were going to prison in these huge, this increase was just so tremendous. And we were very concerned. So a group of nuns, of course, they decided we would go to Chowchilla, which is where there are approximately 8,000 women housed there in 2 different prisons, and ask the women what it was that we could do for them. And we didn't know much because we were from the major cities of San Francisco and LA and Orange County and all over. And so we drove up, and you have to know nuns. We have a yellow pad, but it was a 4.5-hour trip. I mean, we had like written a thesis by the time we got there on all the things that we could do for these women. But when we gathered in the room with 60 women at Valley State Prison first, and then followed by CCWF, it went the same. We laid out why we had come, and what is it that you need that we could do for you. And the first woman started, and she said, "We never see our children. We never see our children. You've got to help us. We're desperate." And she burst out crying. And the next woman, "It's been 3 years. I have to touch my child. I can't call home. They can't afford to accept the charges. I haven't seen my family, and please help us, help us." And it went all the way around the room just like that. And I can assure you that if you were sitting in that room, you would have done what we did. Oh my God, what can we do? We could get a bus. That's, So, a bus. So we went back to LA. We got we got the prison to agree. They picked 9 women who had 17 children, and they were all over San Bernardino, Orange County, San Diego, LA. So we call friends and family members to say, go to this home and see if we can get this family to this bus, which is leaving on this day from here. And we had 100% response, and they helped them with all their paperwork. And a lot of them were cared for by grandmothers, and they didn't have their birth certificate, so they would go out and try to find all the paperwork. I mean, I said, oh my God, we all have major degrees, and we can't negotiate this system. So the day of the trip came. Now, all along it was about the mothers, right? And these kids showed up, and they did not believe that they were actually going to go to see their mother until the bus drove up. A real nice bus with the bathroom and everything. And they got on it, so now they're very anxious. And when we arrived, it was much like, not like this, but round tables. And the moms were at their own tables. And when the children came through the door, the mom stood up and the kids started running. And I have never witnessed anything like this in my life. I mean, those children had not seen their mothers between 4 and 9 years. So it was amazing. There was a lot of media. They could hardly hold up their cameras. And that ride on that bus that day, it became all about the children. And to see the need children have to see their mothers looking at them, telling them that she loves them, seeing themselves reflected in her, how she had the same mole, her hair looked like, their brothers. I mean, it was just amazing. So the next year it was 3 buses, and then it was 5 buses. Last year we took 60 buses to 9 prisons and took over 1,200 children. And I came from a very loving family. I grew up I tell people I grew up with Ozzie and Harriet. Something like that. Anyway, so it was a shock to me, and I don't know, I'm just telling you this because I guess we just, as a society, we just haven't thought about the children. And when it came to try this out at a men's prison, we started in San Luis Obispo. And that particular year, we learned that visiting mothers and fathers is different. And a lot of the dads, we met with them. And I remember the very first day we met when they brought all the dads together who were signing up their kids. And one young man leaned over to one of our volunteers and he said, I'm telling you, they never gather us like this, mixed races in one area, never. But he said, but today, we're all dads. Mm-hmm. And you could see them see themselves at a different level. So many of those children were meeting their fathers for the first time. You know, they lived with the mom who was separated from the dad, but since we accompanied the children, they would allow them to come. And this year we did San Quentin, and to a person, there wasn't one dad that was on that bus, his family on the bus, who had ever seen him. So he had never been to the visiting room, all of them. So it was very big. And a lot of healing goes on, not only for the children and their parent, but also for the extended family who's bringing the children as well. So I want you to know that how much we appreciate what you have done today to spur this, Dirk, and also all your partners in the wine business here, and all of you who have come to support this mission. Because we need to do and stand with the children. We need to, because we cannot feed another generation into this system. We cannot. And they need this. They may never live with this parent, but this is their parent. So I want to just introduce for an opportunity to say a few words, maybe the Kalins, who are also at that first meal. They were the bus coordinators for San Quentin. It was dangerous to go to that meeting, I'll tell you.